mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes had been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake, and this is MTD&D's Chult of Personality, and we are on episode 25 of our Tomb of Annihilation D&D 5th edition campaign. And as you may have just seen before the introduction, this episode is sponsored by Cryfoth. Megan, would you like to say something about Cryfoth?
Yes. So Cryfoth is a setting supplement that my fiance Connor Davies and I wrote together, and we kickstarted it. It was a successful Kickstarter, and now it is out for the world on DriveThruRPG. It is available now, and it's only it's available for only $1. It is a 157-page full of art and different races, classes, lore, backgrounds, and a bunch of different things. And so if you guys could check it out, that would be awesome.
And if you want to see Cryfoth in action, be sure to go over to the Dice on Ice channel on YouTube. Or Marquise, are your videos still up? Over on is that on which channel?
Mastered by Marquise.
On Mastered by Marquise, you can see the last 7 days, a 7-episode arc that aired originally here on the MTD channel, run by Marquise, with Connor and Megan both playing in that. Fantastic setting, just an amazing book. Congratulations to you, Megan and Connor, and I'm very pleased to be able to promote this product on the stream. So, welcome. It's been a few weeks since we have played our Tomb of Annihilation game. We are going to be playing right here in our usual spots on Mondays at 8:30 for the next, I think it's 3 weeks. And then we're going to have or it's 3 or 4 weeks. We'll figure it out. We'll let you know on Twitter. And then we're going to have a bye week, and then we are moving to Sunday nights. To accommodate some schedule changes. But you'll still be able to see all of these wonderful players doing their usual shenanigans. By that time, we may even have 3 or 4 new characters at the rate things are going. So, Mike's scowling like, what are you talking about, man? So, I'm going to run it around real quick to everybody to let them introduce themselves. Plug what you want. Megan, if you want to plug Cryfoth again, go ahead. But Mike, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you. Social security number, height, weight, mother's maiden name, all that good stuff.
Yeah, no worries. So hi, my name is Mike. I have run the channel Mike Thepiper on YouTube, where I've been playing or running an empire building campaign that is exceptionally political, and all my players are very scared. It's a lot of fun. They're trying to run the ins and outs of all sorts of like building a town and dealing with all of the people that live there. So that's it's good. It's a lot of fun. Playing the half-elf Vale Istafall, the paladin who doesn't really realize he's a paladin, but he's going to figure it out on the way, and he's got this. Doesn't have to ask for directions, whatever. And he'll probably die in this session. Calling it right now.
Next up, Marquise.
What's up, everyone? I have something new to plug today. If you go over to scavengerworld.net, that's scavengerworld.net, you'll see the current project that your boy Marquise is working on. It's an art book and also a setting that may have rule supplements with it as well for 5th edition. That'll be coming out probably next year, hopefully, if things go well. The setting is a mixture of like if Dark Sun, Planescape, and Babylon had a baby together. I'm not sure how 3 things have a baby, but some species make it possible. And I think Scavenger is one of those. So again, at scavengerworld.net, you'll see beautiful art by the artist who's leading the project and some writing on it and everything. Cool stuff. Check it out.
Fantastic. Megan, again.
Everyone, I'm Megan. I am half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, and on the other side, we do put out videos. I actually just put one out that Jake played in, and it was a horror game, and I think, I had a lot of fun. I don't know about the other players, but I had fun. So if you want to go check that out, we'll be putting out lots more content now. And I just wanted to also thank Jake for that amazing little Cryfoth intro for this. He did that, made that. It is awesome. So thank you.
My pleasure. You've earned it. And last but most certainly not least is the version of me just 6 years ago.
Minus 90. Never mind. So, hey guys.
The slightly smaller, slightly younger version of me.
A little bit prettier too. Drake with the RPG Construct, running on YouTube, half of the podcast if Jake and I ever put out another episode.
One day soon.
Something RPG-ish. We're going to do that one of these days. I keep talking about the Tales from the Loop videos. Those are done. I just haven't uploaded them yet. But hopefully sometime this week. Jake and I did a whole recording. It was great. It was an hour, and he forgot to turn on the sound. So
that
was nice. But yeah, RPG Construct on YouTube. Check it out. Lots of videos.
And you'll notice in each person's window here on the overlay is their Twitter handle. Please follow them all on Twitter to stay up to date on what they are up to. I can already tell now that Cryfoth is out, it looks like Megan and Connor are getting a little more active on Twitter. Got to promote that book. And the rest of us are doing various things on Twitter as well. So, real quick, I'm going to do a super fast recap to get us up to speed so we can get going. Recap is this. We're in the jungles of Chult. There's a death curse. There's a thing called a soulmonger. If you die, you're dead. There's no resurrections. If you've been resurrected, you're starting to die. There's zombies. There's dinosaurs. There's zombie dinosaurs. There's a little bit of dinosaur racing. There's a whole lot of infighting. There's death. There's curses. There are betrayal. Lots of Yuan-Ti. And in the last episode, their faithful guide and companion, Salida, was revealed to be a traitorous Yuan-Ti who spent the better part of 24 hours being tortured by Dunala, awaiting the rest of the party to awaken as they decided what to do with Salida and how to proceed in their journey. And they decided that they would continue south, which should take them directly to Camp Vengeance, which was going to be on their original path along the river anyway. They have along the way gathered a Commodon, which is a half leopard. Imagine a leopard with 6 snakes coming out of its shoulders. And that is Vale's celestial fine steed granted by Ubtao. They have also gathered up Vorn, the shield guardian that was left abandoned by a wizard many, many years ago. So they make up quite a motley crew. Selita is currently bound and riding astride Vorn's shoulders as they begin heading toward Camp Vengeance. And the last words that were spoken in the last session were spoken by Brilinya. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Brilinya to take us into this session, episode 25.
So Brilinya would just kind of turn to you all and say, well, now that they're involved, I guess I should probably tell you about the Weeping Friars. They are a group, a section of Ilmater that believe that there's only a finite amount of suffering in the world. I was part of this. I was created to take on the suffering of the world. That's what I was made to do. And everything was fine. I mean, they were a little extreme, I guess to say, but I thought, and I guess I still think that what they're doing, what they're trying to do is right. Before I left, Brother Mateus, he was my mentor, and I saw him torturing someone before they died. And that is not something that we believe, because we believe that the amount of pain that someone goes through before they die comes back when they're born again. And so putting someone through that amount of pain would just focus the pain inwards and not kind of absorbing it. And I was so confused and I didn't understand, and I left. And now I don't know. I'm not sure what this means, but I think that event and then this is somehow connected. But that's it, I guess. You saw them. They came to the temple that one day.
I remember. He seemed like a bit of a standoffish kind of fella.
He is the leader, I suppose, still. And I guess the other thing, I was not sent here. By the church. I left. I took the place of the person who was going to go. And I don't know what they were told to do. What other things, I don't know. What they were told. And Brilinya would just kind of look down, like just sheepishly.
Well, you're not them, Brill. I mean, you're your own person. I mean, yeah, you follow Thunder and all, but you can't see you like them.
She said once that none of us were innocent here. Why don't you explain why?
Brilinya would just kind of start just shaking her head it's not that. It's, I don't know, you guys kill and you add to the suffering, and so did I, and so do I still. And it's not right. There shouldn't be that. There should be people like me who take it on themselves, who are designed to take it on themselves. I shouldn't be out here. This was a mistake.
I don't know.
Dunala is confused. You say that you take on the suffering, yes?
Yeah, and I alleviate others as much as I can.
But Dunala is confused about that. When a tiger is hungry, the tiger must eat, yes?
I don't follow.
Oh, let me explain this. Let me use it like this then. All things must kill to live, because everything is alive, and we must kill these things in order to live. Now, Dunala cannot eat you. Well, he could, but Dunala would not eat you. Would not be very good. I don't think the other two here would want to eat you either. So, by premise of everything living, nothing you are saying makes any sense to me. Dunala is not comprehending why you sit here and you have such sadness in your eyes and such loneliness in your heart because you chain yourself to this belief that does not work with how the world works.
No, the world doesn't work like that, but we try and do whatever we can to mitigate suffering.
Have you ever eaten before, Brilinya?
Yes.
Will you stop eating?
No.
Then there is no way you will not continue to add suffering to the world using your own definitions.
But we can try not to. We can do our best.
Are you going to do your best by not eating?
But if there's only a finite amount of suffering in the world, and then we can take it on. Then we can reduce it, and then
What are
that
we
would
doing
lead to
here?
less suffering.
What are we doing here? What are we doing in this jungle? What are we all doing together? What are we trying to accomplish here? Isn't that reducing suffering? Isn't that the whole point of what we're all doing here?
Well,
Except for him?
thank you.
I thought so. I really did.
Isn't that bigger than you? Isn't everyone in the world bigger than you?
Dunala thinks this is silly. Trying to reduce suffering is like trying to throw water out of the ocean. It is a pretty thought, but this is a thought nonetheless. A dream. And dreams are dreams because they are not real. It is that simple. Now, as for your weeping flyers, they sound complicated. Solida here says that they are also here for the soulmonger. Did you not know about this either?
What I had heard is we were sent to help out. That was it. Nothing more.
You realize, Brilinya, that if we run into these weeping fires when we go to find the soulmonger, and they want it for some purpose other than destroying them.
I don't know what they would want it for. I don't know. I don't know much anymore. Things just made so much more sense when I was at the temple. Now they don't.
What do they want you for? You said they're involved for you. Why?
They're not involved for me. I'm in the way. I don't know everything that's going on, and I'm an expensive commodity to them.
You are an Azamar, aren't you? That makes sense. But there's something about you, Brilinya, that's been striking me as interesting since I've met you. I have seen many a miracle worker in Chult. They come from all over, all across the seas, from Faerun. Here, these clerics, they come, they weave their spells in the name of gods. You do not seem to weave your spells in the name of gods, Brilinya. Your magic is different. It is strange to me. Is the rest of the magic of these weeping flyers like yours?
What do you mean, changed?
Well, not changed so much. It's as you do things of other religions.
I don't know. This is just what I've been taught. That's all I'm doing is what I've been told. Well, not really, but I've been trying to do what I've been told.
I
What I've
see.
been taught.
So then to them you were a tool in the truest sense of the word.
I suppose.
You hear Salida start laughing from atop Vorn when you say this, Dunala. You are all tools. In the truest sense of the word.
Salida, did I give you permission to speak?
You are all trying to puzzle out why you are here.
Donaldo's not trying to puzzle out why he's here. He knows why he's here.
You are being used just like everybody else. You think you are here of your own volition. You think that you have any hope of doing anything that is not in some way a manipulation. The Weeping Friars, the Yonti, the supposed lich that controls the Soulmonger.
Lich controlling Soulmonger, that's new.
Even your patron back in Port Nyanzaru. All of them have selfish reasons for which they are seeking the Soulmonger. All of them want it for control. You do it out of apparent altruism to help your patron. I do not know why it is that you think you are here with these people on the same journey as them. But I can assure you, the Night Serpent has you within his control. So you are going. You continue to think that you are carrying out your free will in these jungles. But look up. Look up. And you are certain to see the strings of the marionette. And follow those skyward, and you will perhaps see the puppet master who controls each of you. Yours, Dunala, perhaps go to Dendar. Brilinya, it is very clear that very short strings attach you to the Weeping Friars. All of you back to Sindra Sylvain. No matter what, you are all under someone's manipulation. Just some food for thought.
It wasn't very good food, Dunala thinks.
Yeah, we're not very hungry. Besides, yeah, maybe we are being led around. But in the end, we're doing good. I mean, come on. We're getting out there. We're going to put an end to this curse, and everyone will be better off. And Brill, if you want out of this Weeping Friar nonsense, then do so. Run away from it. I mean, we'd all have your back.
How much better off is Gunslinger Cole, Vale? Is she better off for your efforts?
So, it's funny you mentioned that because, I was just thinking to myself that, we probably shouldn't kill you. But, Dunala's starting to make a lot of sense, if you keep bringing her up again. I'm not a violent person. I'm not a threatening person. But I will tell you the honest fact that I will cut you to ribbons and leave you here to bleed out for whatever decides to come around and eat you for the
Wow.
rest of your life.
If I knew that mentioning Brilinya's sister would bring out such aggression from you, Predator of Ooptow, I would have brought it up a long time ago.
Vale, while Cole's blood was soaking into the ground in which you had buried her, and you all slept a weary sleep around the fire inside the statue of the crocodile and man, who was it that watched over your sleeping forms and kept you safe in the night? Just remember this, Vale.
What a stupid argument you use, Salita. Please, just quit it. You agitate me. You do disservice to your own intelligence. You are a smart woman. You manipulated these people for how long, and you continue to rattle off such nonsense? Just be quiet, please.
Can we just go back for 1 second?
Yes, what is it, Brilinya?
How did you know?
Oh, that the tiefling was your sister. I read it in her journal.
You went
What?
through Cole's journal.
No. When I had tied up Salita, I was going to interrogate her, and I was looking for something to write in, and I found a book, and I opened the book, and I read the book a little bit to make sure it wasn't too important, and I found some empty papers, and I was going to write what Salita told me. Unfortunately, Salita did not tell me anything, and thus I put the book back in its proper place.
That is not.
Is that true?
Yes, yeah. Cole is my twin sister.
At that, Uba would sort of have to pick his jaw up off the ground and really be completely speechless, like looking at Vale, looking at Brill. Like, am I the only one who didn't know this?
Well, if memory serves, okay, just out of character for a second. Didn't believe Dunal had mentioned that to us before?
Dunala has not mentioned it before.
We didn't know. We didn't know, Mike.
Nope. This is actually the first that Vale and Ubo are hearing this information.
Yeah, I'm just stunned into silence. Just staring at.
Now, I find some things odd about that, Brilinya, that you said that you were twin sisters. I didn't do a very in-depth read of Cole's journal, but from what I understand, she was a tiefling and not raised by these, the weeping friars. She talked about artifices and a city far off as she was raised in.
I have heard whisperings when I was in the temple of sometimes when they pray to Ilmater to give them a servant, or maybe it isn't Ilmater, maybe it's someone else, I don't know, a friend of Ilmater's perhaps. Sometimes there are two, and not one. A tiefling and an Azamar. And from what I can gather, the temple doesn't look too kindly on tieflings, in most cases.
So they threw her away, is what you're telling me.
Yes, I only found out this information very, very recently.
As interesting as it is, Brilinya, I will tell you this. You are pledging your fealty to a strange cult of people who make pacts with strange beings who give birth to tieflings in Azamar and then throw one away while pretending to reduce suffering in the world. I do think you should reconsider what your priorities are when it comes to your alliances in your life.
But it's all I've ever known. It's all I've ever seen until now. My mind is not. We need to focus on the Soulmonger, I think.
Brilinya, you will be unable to focus on anything until you quiet the storm in your heart. But it will take time, and we are close to the camp, I believe.
Who's leading all of you on your journey south toward the fort?
Dunala for sure.
Since Salida was your guide, who's taking point on this?
Dunala would be interrogating Salida for directions, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll take point on that one. On this one.
Make me a survival check. Vale.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not just, hey, Mike, you succeed. Just, this is once. All right. Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting my survival's not awful. Now there was that roll. That will be a dirty 20.
Having remembered the directions, and you do have the incomplete map that was that Cole had been holding on to, that was given by Sindra Sylvain, and you're able to keep pretty good sense actually of the southern direction and where you believe the fort to be. So you guys have actually. Even though you've been kind of talking your way through on this journey, you've managed to make pretty good time through the jungle. And the weather throughout the day has gotten the typical hot and humid. The wind keeps gusting through the trees a little bit. You kind of get that rush of wind through the canopy, but not so much to disturb you. No rain. Seems to be pure blue skies through the canopy. And after a few hours of travel, most of the day actually, you start to pick up a rather pungent odor when the wind picks up. And the wind is blowing from the south towards the northwest. And every time it gusts up, you just get a strong scent of death and decay. It's got that kind of mildewy, moist smell to it beyond just the dampness of the jungle. And every time the wind picks up, you just get that fetid death smell.
I will, since Moyo will be with me, I'll probably just kind of pat her and kind of gauge her reaction to things. Like if it's something that she's like, obviously a predatory jungle cat is going to know, or at least have a sense of like, we should not be here because I smell the undead, kind of a thing. So just kind of looking to gauge her reaction as I head through.
Because of the newness of your relationship with Moyo, I'm going to have you make an insight check.
Oh man, I'm bad at all of those. Never mind, that would be an 18.
whenever the wind picks up and this odor kind of comes, you see the serpents that are kind of constantly writhing around from her shoulders. You see their tongues flick excessively, tasting the air. And you can see as she just kind of raises her head and just stays on course. She doesn't falter in her course. She doesn't seem to hesitate. She's not growling. Whatever this smell of death is, it doesn't appear to agitate her.
I'll turn back to the others and I will say, don't worry. I mean, it smells bad, but hey, you know, probably smells better than yakka beetles. Hey, bro. And I know, Dunala, you're probably going to tell me that you love yakka beetles.
Yes, I think they feel fairly sweet to myself.
Well.
Ubo,
Well,
I want you to make me a perception check.
Okay. Natural 1.
Okay, never mind. Eventually, as you continue along, you notice up ahead, a few hundred yards, you can see that there's a more daylight visible through the trees, through the trees themselves, rather than just the canopy. And you can just start to glimpse what looks like a wooden palisade, hewn logs that have been jammed into the ground, and you can just kind of glimpse a few that have been sharpened and are sticking up at angles out from this, along the edge of this palisade. And as you close that distance, you're still in the tree line. You get the glimpse, your first glimpse of Camp Vengeance. It appears to be surrounded by this wooden palisade. There's a trench dug around it. On the inner side is where these angled logs have been spiked and placed. The trench, it's hard to tell how deep it is. There's a murky, foul-smelling, brackish water that is within this trench. And you can just glimpse a few burned piles of corpses of animals and humanoids outside of this trench, outside of the fortification. And you are approaching from the north. And you're just inside the trees, so what do you want to do?
Is there anything we can see? Can we see any movement or hear anything?
You can make out what looks to be, from this vantage point, 4 guard towers that kind of rise up above the palisade walls. The palisades themselves are about 12 feet tall. These towers extend about another 10 feet or so above. And those are indicated on this little map by the squares, with a larger watchtower on the easternmost side that looks like a gate tower, even from this vantage point.
Hello! Dunala would shout out.
Or, you know, maybe not announce our presence too much for whatever's in there. Huh?
If we've gotten this close and they haven't seen us yet, then they're either all dead or they're waiting to already kill us.
Or maybe they're just really stupid undead zombies just waltzing around into things waiting for us to walk in like the lamb to the slaughter, right?
Well, if they're undead zombies and me saying hello is of no consequence.
Why don't we just send in the big Vorn guy?
Horrible idea. If there's people in there, they'll attack us and think we're enemies.
Oi! Who goes there? And you just see on the watchtower nearest you, you see a spear kind of move into an upright position where it was down below the wall of the watchtower, and you see a hand kind of pull up, and you see a human looking over, and he's kind of peering out towards the edge of the jungle. I said, who goes there? How would you?
My name is Dunala. We come from Port Nyanzaru. Our guide is injured and very sick, as you can see, and he points to the Salida, and we have come looking for supplies and rest.
Come out of the wood line. I can't see you.
And Dunala will raise his hands and walk out.
Brilinya would do the same.
Yeah, same.
Do you speak Chultan, perhaps?
I speak the language we're speaking right now.
Well, that is fine. I can tell that, obviously. I did not need you to tell me this. But yes, I am Dunala. We are, as you can see from the jungle, we have a guide. We have a charter, if you would like to see it. We have a charter, right? He whispered at the bro right beside him.
Bro just kind of like scowls for a moment, seemingly thinking. Yeah, I think so.
Yes, we have a charter.
Oi! You see him as he turns, looks like he's looking down. And you can see him actually physically lifting another man up. And this other person kind of looks around and then sees as all of you have come out. And it's about the time that Vorn is visible with Salida atop, that the other one suddenly reaches down, grabs something, and you can see him fighting with, and then brings up to bear a heavy crossbow.
Oh, he is of no danger. He's one of our protectors that we have brought. He's a shield guardian.
And I think Brilinya would make the shield guardian just kind of like wave.
Very iron giant. Come around to the front. Stay where we can see you.
Which way is the front? To my left or to my right?
I'm pointing at it.
Well, I can't really see. You're very short and you're very high up.
Walk around to the east.
Thank you.
To that side, by the river, and you will see the main watchtower.
Will there be someone there?
You bet your ass there will be.
Great. That's what I was hoping for. I'm thirsty, man. And he'll start walking.
And you actually can see at a couple of the other watchtowers, as a couple figures, you can almost see, it looks like a couple people are climbing up onto the watchtower to see what's happening. And do all of you make your way around to the east side?
Yes. I'll take Moyo and kind of lead her, like kind of keep close to her, and then walk over to the front. I'll look back at Brilinya, make sure they're following.
As usual, Uwe would go last.
So you all make your way easily enough as you approach kind of all you can see all the way around what looks to be about a good 30-40 feet away from the edge of this trench. The trees have been cleared, and you're moving through this clearing sort of along this trench. Very quickly the river comes into view, the Shoshenstar River that you had previously been traveling on. And you can see that there are about 4 or 5 canoes that are tethered to a log along the bank. And from that area where the canoes are is a main pathway that leads to the front gate tower. There is a heavy gate that remains closed when you come around the side. After a moment, as you come around, you see first a human woman in armor standing imposingly above the gatehouse on the platform, looking down at you. And then you kind of hear a little bit of panting and kind of a of something heavy. And then you see thum, thum, thum. And then climbing up next to her on a clearly on some kind of a platform is a dwarf, a gold dwarf with just the reddest beard and hair you've ever seen. As he looks down at all of you, they look at each other. What in the Forgotten Realms do we have here?
I mean, that's a fairly... Oh, sorry. Let me start over. My name is Dunala. This is my comrades. This is our guide. We are from Port Nyanzaru. Our guide is very sick and injured. We were looking for a place to rest, and we happened upon your camp. We were coming down the river, but as you remember, 2 days ago, there was a fierce storm, and we had to go inland for a while.
What is such a motley group like you doing traipsing around the jungle anyway?
I'm assured that you have seen more diverse and bigger expeditions than you have seen just now. There are many people like us inside of Chult. I am Chultan. I have seen it myself.
I mean, if you really want to know, just ask our fucking dungeon master. He's the one that's been traipsing us around on this whole damn thing.
He has attempted to build a
Fourth
werewolf.
wall. Sorry, it's a fourth wall. It's a fourth wall. I'll put it back. My bad.
It wouldn't be a session without Mike breaking the fourth wall at least once.
It's the Canadian in me, because it's like, hey, Deadpool does it, and
like
Ryan Reynolds
Canadian racial
is
trait. Like you pick Canada, like Canadian for your race, and it's like break the fourth wall is their main ability.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Nice.
That and Putin is the other. It's the instantly gain all of your health, but then also feel carbo loaded for like the next week and a half.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
I am trying to feel carbo loaded myself, but you have not let us into your camp yet.
Where did you come by that thing? And he's pointing right at the shield guardian.
We brought it. We are very well equipped for the expedition.
Make a persuasion check.
Ooh, I'm good at persuasion checks. Hopefully I don't roll terribly.
Marquise doesn't roll less than 20.
Wait a second. I voted 2, so I'm going to use my inspiration for that. All right. That didn't help whatsoever.
That couldn't have been any better time, Drake.
That would be... that'll be an 8.
All of you, let this one speak for you.
I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, we've been through a lot, and we would just like to come in, if it's all right with you. It has gone south for us since we've left Port Nyanzaru. We're very tired. We're hungry. We're a bit sore. If I eat another piece of dinosaur meat, I'm going to go on a murderous rampage. I would even eat regurgitated yakka beetles at this point, honestly.
That is a delicacy in some parts of the port.
Of course it is. We're all tired. We haven't had a proper night's sleep. I mean, you know what it's like. You go to bed and you hear that annoying mosquito sound. I know I'm not speaking of Dunala, although sometimes, so look, we're tired, we're hungry, we are in need of rest and stuff so we could keep going and just win the day and make everybody happy. All right, we're not going to come in and kill you. There's probably lots of you, and there's only 4 of us. I mean, after all, what can 4 of us really do? Well, 5 of us, including her, but she's sick and wounded. I think we've already been through this part of the conversation. So if it's all right with you, we would like to just come in And if it's that bad, and if you're freaked out, then you can tell us to leave, and we can leave.
Are you not obligated to let us in with the charter?
There's
We have
also
a charter.
7 of us.
What?
We have a robot in the Commodore. Continue, Ubo. I'm sorry.
Ubo's looking up at the guy. If we have a charter, aren't you obligated to take us in, to give us shelter? Isn't that how that works?
You think the charter has anything to do with the Order of the Gauntlet? I like you, Turtle. You're naive.
He is very naive.
What? Yes, sir. That is. Technically, there's 7 of them. Yeah,
See,
it's a
they're
SEAL
like,
Guardian. Well, it looks like a Commodon. They got a woman with them. It don't look too good. Yeah, they're probably adventurers. Yeah, they look alright. I mean, it's a turtle, a woman, a couple of guys. One of them's Chult.
That's me. Talk about me, huh?
Yeah. Alright. And then he looks off to the side and he kind of whistles and does one of this. And the gate in front of you just starts going. And opens up. And as the gate opens up, you see about 20 feet inside, just the other side of the gatehouse, you see a male human, armored, standing with his hands on his hips, one hand on his sword at his belt. 4 soldiers flank either side, men and women, kind of in a V formation behind him, all armed with swords and heavy crossbows. And as the door opens up, the dwarf shouts down at you. We've opened the door for you. Come on in. The commander's going to want to talk to you.
Jay, can I roll an insight, see if he's full of shit?
Who, the dwarf?
Yeah, just curious.
Yeah.
That'd be a 22.
He just seems to be he has the bearing of a military commander.
Okay. Hey, I'm not going to not check insight at this point.
Dunarlo just walks in, uncaring of things like insight checks or perception.
As you all begin walking in, everybody's kind of watching you, and this commander figure is looking you all up and down, and you actually see most of the guards with their crossbows. A couple of them mutter curses under their breath. A couple of them take a step back as Vorn has to slightly duck to come through the gatehouse. And you even see this commander just kind of... All right. Welcome to Camp Vengeance. I am Commander Niles Breakbone. Come in. I have a feeling we've got some things to talk about. Stand easy. I don't think they mean us any harm. Besides, we've got them outnumbered. As you all come in, go ahead and give me perception checks, everybody.
$18.
I also got an 18.
4.
You said you didn't care about perception.
True, very true.
I got a 14.
Brilinya and Ubo, you notice, as you kind of just glancing around, Dunala, you would notice, as in Vale, you all can see that this camp is kind of run down. It has the look of a well-worn camp that's been here a while. Some of the buildings look a little run down. Some of the tents, they're kind of faded, patched. Everything is damp. You can catch faint hints of, sewage. It sounds like uncovered latrines, or actually even looks like latrine pits in the rains may have flooded and just run through the walkways of the camp. You can see that some of the tents looks like all of the tents have actually been built up around raised wooden platforms so that they're at least raised up from the moisture. Brilinya and Ubo, you actually see beyond just the commander and the 8 guards that were brought to the front. You see a few people milling around, and everybody that you see looks gaunt and haggard. Red, sleep-weary eyes, unkempt beards and hair, grimy armor. You even see rust spots on weapons. People move with no sense of urgency. You can hear that kind of off in the distance. You hear a lot of from different areas. It almost sounds like you've walked into a sick ward. Brilinya, it might even remind you of the temples when people have come in for healing. Amidst all of this, Ubo, you can smell as well the fetid aroma of death, and Vale, even you recognize that smell was most likely coming from the burned piles of charred corpses around the camp. The smell of human waste, the smell of mildew and sickness. But mingling with it all, Ubo, you catch the faint scent of ocean air, the salt water tinged air, a hint of coconut and sand, though you know you are far inland from the saltwater coasts. It's a scent that reminds you of home, of a region called the Snout of Umgar. A smell you've not smelled for quite some time.
We'll just keep that in the back of my head for right now.
As I said, my name is Commander Niles Breakbone. Come with me, and we'll talk. And he turns and motions for you all to follow him as he begins to walk a little deeper into the camp.
Oh, where should we put the Shield Guardian and the Giant Death Machine, the Commandant?
All of you stay together and stay with me. We're going to go to the fire.
All right.
It's just over here. And he looks over at a couple of the soldiers. And he just kind of snaps his fingers, makes a couple snapping motions, and then points at all of you. And the soldiers just kind of rush off to the side and disappear into a tent. And as the commander ushers you all around the fire, where there are, it's not so much a fire like for warmth or whatever. It actually looks like it's a cook fire. There are several overturned stumps and a couple of logs for seating. It also looks like it's a common meeting area here in the camp. And as you're getting seated, one of the soldiers comes running up with a wicker basket and quickly begins skewering large chunks of dinosaur meat and cooking them over the fire. We'll see to it that you get some food. You all look like you could eat something. How's your water? Good? Do you need water?
We're good on water.
It's wet.
No throat leeches, which is very nice.
Oh God, not that again. Yeah, no throat leeches.
I thought again. Have you had throat leeches before, Vale?
Oh no. Just seems like someone else had just been hopping on throat leeches and.
Or throat leeches are horrible. Whoever did so is very intelligent.
To know. Anyway, so dinosaur meat, eh? Great.
Well, there's no real shortage of that around here.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's either that or the undead, which we prefer not to feast upon.
Yeah, no, that would be a good idea. I mean, just kind of icky.
Have you ever had jaculi before, Commander? It is very tough, but the taste, it is sweet.
There's not a lot in these jungles that I have not tasted.
Ooh, I like that.
Tell me, how is it that all of you find yourselves here at Camp Vengeance? Are you their guide? He looks to you, Dunala.
Substitute. I found them, actually. I found them after the storm a few days ago. Their guide, as you can tell, and he points to Salida, is haggard, beaten down, and exhausted. I think she must have become dicks for something. So I offered to lead them to somewhere else that I knew. I was heading here all the while, before I met them. That part is actually true.
He looks up at Salida. You don't look too well. She barely manages a weak smile and kind of seems to be wavering on top of Vorn. The commander kind of whistles. A couple more guards come over. And he just kind of nods his head over towards Salida. And they move over to try to... They kind of stand, like, next to Vorn. Like, they know they were just commanded to help Salida down, but Vorn is so tall that they're just kind of like...
Yeah, Brilinya would kind of command Vorn to just kind of help Salida off and kind of give her to the men around Vorn.
I imagine Vorn kind of reaching back and picking her off like a kitten just by the scruff of the back of her armor and just kind of setting her down. And she kind of makes a show of collapsing into the arms of these soldiers. We will see to your friend.
As he says that, Dunala doesn't make a move at all. Like, he doesn't actually, like, twitch a muscle. I'm subtle casting a spell. I'm subtle casting Mind Spike on Salida, so that way I can keep track of her. But she needs to make a saving for wisdom.
Oh, she fails.
Perfect. She's going to take... I rolled very low on damage. She's going to take 4 points of damage. And as long as I concentrate for the next hour, I will know exactly where she is, and she can't be invisible for me or anything like that.
She grabs her head just as you kind of engage this and just kind of...
Be very
And
careful,
does she
for
know?
conditions
Does she
weapons.
know that this has been cast on her?
I mean, she knows that she's been hit by something, and she would probably assume it's Dunala, but because it's subtle cast, no one, including her, would know exactly how
But
it
it's not like mind reading where
Yeah, it's not like that.
where they know. So I don't think she would necessarily make that connection, at least as far as you can tell. She seems to be holding her head and kind of rubbing at it, almost like an invisible spike went through her forehead. She does not look good. We'll have to take her over and have someone from our religious corps take a look at her. We've had an unfortunate outbreak of the monkey fever. Well, that's just one of the tribulations of being here in the jungle. Be thankful today that the wind is up. It's keeping the insects away. So, aside from your friend here, and though you all look a little worn, you look to be capable adventurers here in the jungle. No doubt on the same quest as everyone else.
And what quest is that?
The usual. Fame. Fortune. Defeating death, perhaps.
We are looking for the lost city.
You and about everybody else that passes through here.
You wouldn't have happened to have found it, would you? You know, maybe looked under your bedroll or...
If I found it, do you think I would still be here? Well, I would be here, but most of these people would not.
What is that? Let me guess. It's a city of unimaginable treasures and heaping piles of gold and gems and artifacts that could make you a living, walking god. Right, something like that.
Clearly, you've heard the same stories I have.
No, I haven't. But I do know when a fool's errand is a fool's errand because a couple of people just want to run their mouths about some stupid gamble. I've diced, I've drank and diced. I accidentally drank dice once. Don't suggest it. But I know for a fact that if something's lost and it's abandoned, folk don't normally leave gold and silver and gems and all sorts of other things. They take them with them because they're valuable, because they have to run away from something awful, and they might need that stuff to barter with to get basic expensive items like food. So no, I don't think that there's a mountain of hell. There's probably just a mountain of rubble and a lot of dead things in Omu.
Boy, a pair of foreigners, you both talk a lot about Chult and heritage.
I like you. He looks at you, Vale. I'm still undecided about you. And he looks at you, Denala.
That will not change.
Twice now, I have told you my name. Please. Introductions, I believe, are in order. Oh, good. My commanders are here. As the human woman and the red-bearded dwarf from the watchtower come walking up. Please, I believe you are about to introduce yourselves.
My name is Mayan. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Mayad.
Mayan. I know it is strange to your tongue.
Mayan.
Yes.
I just shake my head. My name's Vale. I'm from the Dales. I know that kind of rhymes, and not really much in the mood for humor. We're also hungry, and we want stuff. We need our weapons repaired. We need access to any stores or items we could trade for money. And
this is Brilinya because we're doing introductions before we ask for requests.
Okay, right. I'm sorry.
Which one's Brilinya? The woman or the turtle?
I am Brilinya.
Both.
Ubo.
It is not often that we see turtles here, this far north into the jungles of Chult, let alone 2 in 1 week.
2?
Oh, yes. There's another turtle here in the camp even now as we speak. Perhaps we can arrange for you to meet her. You may know her, maybe you don't. I don't want to presume that you all know one another, but she is not doing well. She's been sick for the last 3 days.
Ubo would just kind of looking. Yes, when you can arrange that, I would like to meet her, please.
Yes. I think something can be arranged. Now you, Vale from the Dales. You say you want food. The meat will be ready soon. You say you have need of weapons to be repaired, and I believe you were beginning to ask for equipment and essential outfitting to continue your adventures here in the jungles.
Oh, yeah, we can pay for it. Also, I mean, it's not much, but I have a few skills that might help folk if they need some assistance. Also, if absolutely necessary, if you have any water that's not exactly in the best of condition, I can purify it for you.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I
sure
do
is.
believe I could definitely find a use for those skills. Both here and back in the jungles. It's very fortunate that you've come at the time that you all have come. I have need of people just like you. Now you came from the
Just like
north,
us?
yes? I'm sorry?
What do you mean, just like us?
Hardy, strong adventurers. You came from the north, through the jungle. Have you been down the river at all?
A little bit.
What things have you seen on your journey from here, between here and Port Nyanzaru? Assuming, of course, you came through the port.
Trees, rocks, water. Some
Goblins.
really annoying howling monkeys. These little fish that like to eat a lot.
Piranhas. There's a piranhas here.
Brill, as you get the G out, Ubo would go, green things, green, tree. He would try to kind of drown out you saying goblins.
Yeah, and she would just kind of look at you, just scowling, but she wouldn't continue on what she was saying and just kind of nod.
The undead have been moving
Yeah,
further
let's-
north.
Yeah. What else we see? A few dinosaurs, a few undead dinosaurs. Actually, just one. It was big. It was ugly. Wait, it's dead, like proper dead, not just, waiting to come back. Like it's actually dead.
Big,
Yeah.
ugly Tyrannosaurus Rex. Yeah?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
That's the
that might have been the one that was bothering us a few days ago. We
Is the
managed to
answer
chase
you're
it into the
fishing-
jungle.
Oh, sorry. Is the answer you're fishing for the what did Cole call it in her journal? The House of Man and Crocodile or something along those lines?
So you have been by the old camp.
Oh, they have been by the old camp. I just read it in a book.
It's not like it's any great secret. That was our first fortification. But we had no sooner gotten set up than between the undead, the dinosaurs, and the goblin tribes that seemed intent on summoning the undead and the dinosaurs to attack us, we barely made it out of there alive. We used to be nearly twice our numbers. We managed to set up here and refortify, build the palisades, dig the trench, and we have enough here to fight off the undead that come out of the jungles. But therein lies the problem. The undead keep coming out of the jungles. We can barely focus our efforts on anything but the undead. They come day and night, especially strong at night. During the day, all manner of beasts, dinosaurs, and other jungle creatures. It was a very tiresome business. But,
Well, maybe they just don't want you here.
well,
You
be
know?
that as it may, we're here, and we're not going anywhere. And now that you're here, we have just what we need to thin the herd a bit.
See what you did there.
I'm going to take and assign each of you some soldiers and send you out into the jungle for 2 weeks on patrol to clear this area of undead, to ease the burden on my troops here.
Oh, is that so?
During
So
which
you-
time you will be outfitted, you will be fed and watered, and upon completion of your patrols, we'll see what we can do to get you outfitted for further excursions deeper into the jungle.
I think this is something we have to talk about. I mean,
I see. That was my mistake, Vale of the Dales. You are under the impression that I was asking you if you would do this. This is not a request. This is a command. By the order of the Gauntlet, I am conscripting you into service for the Gauntlet, and you will serve us for the next 2 weeks.
Dunala puts a hand on Vale's shoulder before he says anything, because he knows Vale's about to say something that Vale wants to say, but will be a problem. And Dunala, if you look at him, Vale, you'll see that he's just smiling on his face, and he says, Dunala and his comrades are appreciative of what you are offering, and we will give you all the help that you require.
Mayan?
Mayan Dunala, that is my full name.
Mayan Dunala.
You're not Chultan, so you do not know how we talk to each other. That is my mistake. I am sorry.
He looks at the rest of you while pointing at Dunala. See, this man knows how things work here in the jungle. Please, eat some meat, drink some tej. I believe we could scrounge up some of those yucca beetles you seem fond of. Get your fill, and we will assign you to some tents. Ubo, when you have satisfied your hunger and your thirst, we can arrange to have, and he indicates the woman that is standing there. This is one of my commanders, Pern Sohana. The dwarf there is Ord Firebeard. Sohana will take you to meet your turtle friend. Well, pardon my presumption. The other turtle that is here in the camp.
Do you know the turtle's name?
He looks over at Sohana, and she speaks up. Tialaro. She said her name was Tialaro.
Would this spark a memory or anything like that for me, Jake?
You tell me.
Hold on. Figure I rolled a 10. I'm going to say that it seems vaguely familiar, but nothing jumps out. Nothing. But the fact that it's a turtle in this area and we are so rare here, I definitely would want to go meet her. But I would have a question for the commander, though. You say that the undead keep coming and you need 2 weeks of our service to clear them out. Do you know where they come from? Is there a place we could go to strike at the heart of these things instead of taking 2 weeks to do patrols?
As you can see, Camp Vengeance is completely surrounded by palisade and barricades. They come from everywhere. Their concentration of late has been from the north. the direction you came from, in which you said so yourself you have dealt with undead. It is from this direction that we would like to send you to thin the herd.
Okay. And Ubo wouldn't wait for food or water. He's fine. He would just want to go check this person out.
All right. What about
Can we
Brilinya?
have a moment, my dear commander? There are some things that we need to discuss. Me, Vale and Brilinya, not me and you.
I don't get
Absolutely, of
included in
course.
Ubo, don't you have a turtle you want to go see? If you want to, I can tell you as well.
Hmm. Ubo would just kind of snort, and he would walk away.
So sensitive. Anyway,
All right, so as you all are left around the fire, and you are, you have the meat and a couple of gourds of tej, and a basket of about a half a dozen yucca beetles that look like they've been left out in the sun a little too long were brought over. In fact, the soldier that brings them over kind of keeps going like this, waving flies away from them, and he just kind of shrugs and sets them down next to you. As Selhana, the human female commander or captain, just looks at you, Ubo, and just kind of gives you a curt "follow me" shake with her head as she leads you towards one of the tents. It only takes a few moments to get over to where this is. Give me a perception check as you are heading over that way.
17.
You catch that whiff of the salt air, the sand, the coconut, but it's mingling strongly with a scent of near death and sickness as you approach this tent. And she stops next to the tent and she pulls it aside and she leans in. We have another turtle here. Oh, so yes, I know, turtle. Yes, he's here to see the other one. Very well. And she looks at you, Ubo, and says, "You may go inside. Be warned, this is a hospital tent. Sister Caius and her Templars are tending to the wounded. They've taken many precautions, but you still put yourself at risk. It is your choice if you walk into the tent. You will find the turtle in the back left corner."
Ubo wouldn't hesitate. He would walk in. He would just nod.
As you walk into this tent, it's just that serious, it's this just really heavy scent of sickness. There's people are constantly just that you hear some, I need some water. I need some water. You see about 3 or 4 people moving around wearing robes of dirty white with red rope bands tied around them. And they have these dirty white kind of headbands. They look kind of like a cross between what you would think of when you think of a traditional Templar knight. But also with, if you cross that Templar knight with a nun, that's kind of what they look like. almost, if anything, almost like militant nuns. And they seem to be moving around, tending to the various sick. One of them, as you come in, she looks at you and she says, I am Sister Caius, and we are here to tend the wounded, and I understand you've come to see the other turtle that is here.
Yes, they told me I could find her in the back.
Yes, I will take you to her. And your name is?
Ubo.
Ubo. Ubo, yes. Come with me, Ubo. Mind your step. And as she says this, you see that there are soiled blankets and rags that are kind of tucked out of the walkway. Some of them are based on the smells, soiled with a variety of bodily fluids. A couple of them appear to be slightly damp with blood. As you see, even now, as you walk by, one person begins coughing and hacking into a rag, and as they pull it away, and they just kind of look up at you pleadingly as you walk by, and you see the almost black blood that they've coughed up. And she takes you to the back, where that back left corner, and you can already see the form where the blanket is kind of raised up from the shell of a turtle. And you can see that this turtle woman is asleep. Her skin is sallow and loose on her bones. Her shell seems almost to be 2 to 3 times bigger on her, oversized, because she just looks like she's emaciated and wasting away by whatever sickness is consuming her. Marquise, can you do me a favor and tell me where the dang diseases are in this book? I'm trying to talk and look them up.
Dude.
If you
All right, give me a minute to look them up real quick.
So as you walk up to her, she appears to be sleeping. What do you do or say, Ubo?
First, I would thank the nuns, Sister Caius. I would just kind of look over at her and nod, just kind of letting her know she can go. Ubo would kneel next to the cot or bed that she's on, and he would put one of his hands on. Is she facing me or facing away?
She's facing you. She's on
Page
her side
40.
facing you.
Page 40, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
And Ubo would just put his hand like on her shoulder, just very, very gently, and just maybe pat, just very, very gently, just to see if he could rouse her a little bit gently, not loud or anything.
You lightly pat, lightly pat her. Her skin feels simultaneously clammy and delicate like parchment. It even kind of flakes a little bit where you patted her ever so lightly. But she doesn't give any sign of waking.
I would push a little harder and shake and say, "Excuse me, hello," and just give her a little shake. Just a gentle shake, but still a shake. It's like the way I wake up my 10-year-old. I don't want to scare her, but she needs to wake up for school.
And then her eyes kind of flutter, and as they open, they're already rolled back in her head. And then they just kind of, as she blinks and then looks at you. What? Sister Caius, I fear the fever is growing increased.
This is not an illusion. I am Ubo. And I am really here.
You are Ubo.
Do you know me?
She reaches a hand out, struggling, like it's taking every effort she has to lift this arm as she reaches out with thin, frail, clawed hand towards you.
And he would take it, and then he would bring it down, but he would still hold her hand, though.
And when you make contact, her eyes seem to brighten just a little bit. It is you. I've been looking for you for over 2 weeks. I feared I would never find you.
You were looking for me. Why? Who was looking for me?
The elders sent us north into Chult to try to find you.
The elders never cared about me before. Why would they care if I was gone now?
The death curse has made its way to the snout of Omgar. Half of our elders are dead already. And more die every day. All the ones that were a part of those celebrated adventures so very long ago.
So why did they send you to find me?
They want you to come back. They want you to be a part of the new leadership.
I couldn't even pass their test. Why would they want me back now? I'm winning by default because they're all dead.
Look at you, Ubo. And look at me. I'm barely clinging to this life, Ubo. But you are still strong. Despite all that is happening in the world around us.
And hearing that, Ubo would kind of stand up straight, kind of put his shoulders back. Who's left? Is there really no one else?
The only ones that are left are those who are already dying. Make an insight check.
Okay. That would be a 12.
She's hiding something.
Did you get it?
Oh, crap. Hold on. It looks like I have...
It's all coming to an end.
No, hold on a second. It looks like I have had a service interruption.
We can talk to you. We can hear you.
No, but the stream is buffering. I've got red on the stream health, and I got a notification I was disconnected.
So you're really trying to get me to go back to the fucking island, you son of a bitch.
All right, hold on.
Go be
No.
with your people. You shoot lasers from your
The
hand.
stream ended.
Hold on.
No, Marquise, I have a plan for that spell.
That's not a spell. It's just you just shoot lasers from your hands.
No, I can shoot burning hands.
That's not a laser. You can shoot actual lasers. The sunbolts, the lasers. You're fucking your phaser man, dude.
No, they're not, dude.
Yeah, dude. The radiant damage.
It's just
All
a
right,
ball of
hold
radiant.
on. We might get reconnected automatically.
It could be a ball. You can make it a laser, though. I'm just saying. You could be shooting out lasers.
Nope. The freaking stream is. I don't know what just happened. My internet just took a dump.
At level 6, you're shooting fire, dude. It's a difference. You're a firebender and a laser bender.
Excuse me. So what does the marshal go up to at 6? Because I'm not going for my books right now.
Oh my lord!
I haven't even looked it up.
Let me pull it up. It should be.
Ubo doesn't fight anything.
What?
We might.
Ubo doesn't hit anything. He misses anyway.
Listen, it's because, dude, it's because you're not believing in the lasers enough, right? Allah could shoot lasers from his hands. He would be a complete